Hi everyone, the big political story on the Mojo Story this evening, never a dull moment in Indian politics. And today we're here to talk about Prashant Kishore and the rumors that are swirling around his meeting with the Gandhi family. If you've just tuned in, this is what happened. Prashant Kishore met with Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, who joined by telephone link in a meeting that lasted several hours. And what we do know is that Prashant Kishore has basically suggested that this meeting had absolutely nothing at all to do with Punjab, as was reported earlier in the media. In fact, the meeting was quite clearly about an offer from the Congress and an offer that could involve Prashant Kishore joining the Congress party. Sources close to Mr. Kishore have confirmed to us that such an offer is indeed on the table and the ball is now in his court. But in return, Kishore, who says, or people close to him say that this meeting was one in a series of such meetings, says that the Congress will have to meet certain commitments before he takes a decision. How do we read these rumors and reports, given that there is absolutely no confirmation, official confirmation from either side on what this meeting was about? Let's bring up our guest on the program today. Is Prashant Kishore going to be joining the Congress party? Remember, the strategist who recently delivered victories in Bengal and Tamil Nadu has made it clear that he no longer wishes to advise other political entities on campaigns, which seems to suggest that he is getting ready for an active electoral role in politics himself. Does it mean that? Well, let's put that question to our panelists. Padma Rao, a veteran journalist and columnist, is on the program with us. Welcome. Sanjay Jha, who is deeply invested in the fate of the Congress. He was a congressman, continues to identify himself as a congressman, but his party sacked him as spokesperson. Aarti Jarat, a veteran journalist who tracks the inside of political corridors, is with us, and Tehseen Poonawala, who's a political analyst but also a Congress supporter, is with us as well. And let me start straight away with you, Tehseen. One thing we do know is that this meeting, which was initially seen to be some sort of mediatory conversation between Amrinder Singh and Sidhu, had nothing to do with any of that. It had nothing to do with Punjab. We know now that it was one in a series of meetings between Kishore and the Gandhis. And we know that there's a possible offer for Mr. Kishore to take the plunge and join the Congress. What do you think of these developments?
I love Lucian's media, Delhi media. They simplify everything to so black and white. And Sanjay will bear with me, or Aarti will bear with me. Prashant or somebody responsible for a series of victory. Oh, he was not there to mediate. Before he was to mediate. As if the Gandhis require somebody to mediate or not mediate. I mean, it's always so simplification. Life and politics is never so simple. There are too many layers. And one thing I have learned about politics, which Barka, you will agree with me, is there's always a smokescreen effect. What you show may not really be the truth. What sources tell you may not really be the truth. So let things go. Whatever has to happen shall happen. And we are all here, we'll witness it.
No, but that's a very vague answer. You're saying the Gandhis don't need mediation. The fact of the matter is that Mr. Kishore was an advisor to the Amrinder Singh government. Sure. And may I also remind you that he had played a great role. At one point, he was close to Navjot Singh Sidhu. There were rumors that Sidhu might join the Aam Aadmi Party. At that time, Prashant Kishore was mediating that conversation. And given the infighting that's taking place in Punjab, the Gandhis could have needed him. But anyway, it's been denied that the meeting had anything to do with that. If Prashant Kishore were to join the Congress party as a Congress supporter, what would you think of it?
I welcome it. More the workers in the Congress, the better. The more the workers, the better it is. And he does have a political acumen. You cannot deny it. He's very good with the media. He does have a section of Delhi media that tweets for him, that clubhouses for him, that does a lot of stories for him, sources based, of course. So he does have his fingers in those pies. And that does help create a perception. Like I said, politics is like a little bit like magic. What you're seeing is an illusion, but the illusion isn't really magic. Behind it is science, is physics, and that's what it is. So politics like that is science, is physics, and there's an illusion on the front. And he is a great illusionist, as Mr. Modi is, and he does know the art of illusion. So that is wonderful. And I hope if he does join the Congress, he can show some of the magic. That's good.
So
Nothing
he's a
good.
great.
The more workers, the better.
What do you mean by great illusionist?
Politics, see, because he is like Mr. Modi's campaign is all about illusion. Politics today has changed across in India, as in most of the democracies. It's a lot about illusion, about portrayal that may not necessarily be true. So you show a larger than life figure, whatever that the illusion that you're trying to create is. It's almost like magic, and he's very good at projecting that. And since he's very good at that, if he joins the Congress as a worker, that's very good. Whatever responsibilities he will be given, that should be nice if he fulfills it, if he were to join. I am not aware of that. But to your earlier comment that he was, on my Punjab thing, it just proves my Punjab point, that he was not needed to solve the Punjab dispute. So that just proves that.
Okay. Sanjay, do you have a somewhat more charitable perspective about Prashant Kishore's value addition to the Congress party, were it to come? Clearly, we know a few things. We know that the Gandhis, or at least, some of the Gandhis seem to place more value on him than Tehseen does. We know that he ran the Congress campaign in Uttar Pradesh. That was not successful, but in his telling of the story, the Congress did not meet its part of the bargain. Priyanka Gandhi had been promised as the chief ministerial candidate in that election. That didn't happen. We also know, and this is for sure, that this is not the first meeting that has taken place with the three family members. And if it's not about Punjab, it has to be about, national politics in some way.
Well, Barkha, let me tell you upfront why this is happening today. This is what I would call as the Priyanka effect in the Congress. It is unambiguous for those who are discerning enough to see the political developments. Priyanka is going to be more center stage going forward. I think my experience of working with her is that unlike Rahul, she's a lot more open to ideas. She's, because she's remained in the shadows and Rahul has been in the forefront even as we talk. The fact of the matter is she has an independent mind. I've worked with her enough to tell you that she is capable of being a lot more bolder, pragmatic in terms of decision making. So the fact that today you're seeing some very dramatic developments, and not just Prashant Kishore, I'm talking about even the handling of the Punjab problem, for instance. Priyanka is now beginning to assume the mantle of the quasi-leader of the Congress party, which I believe is good for the Congress because she's still an untested
but I mean, just to push you a little bit on that, Priyanka Gandhi means Navjot Singh Sidhu. One day later, he's tweeting in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party. So where is this great acumen?
Oh, I'm just going to tell you that she is an untested political brand. But
Right.
the fact that she's willing to, shall we say, take on the troubled waters and look for a troubleshooting situation, I think augurs well. It is better than what Rahul has been doing, which is to just postpone the problem and wait for something to happen.
So let me build on this by saying that I think for those who cover politics, it's quite well known that Prashant Kishore's equation was better with Priyanka than it was with Rahul, and it would have needed a Priyanka to bring Rahul and Prashant Kishore to bridge their gap. Now respond to what you think is happening there. Our information is that there is a possibility that Mr. Kishore will join a political party because he has stated that he will no longer be running campaigns for other people.
Well, Barkha, let me tell you that he had joined the JDU, okay?
Yes.
And he was a vice president, and many people thought he would be a successor, a political successor of sorts to Nitish Kumar, at least as far as the organization was concerned. Now, I have been on the outside of politics before I got in. Once you have seen that there is a political space available, being outside is no fun at all. And I think Prashant is smart enough to sense then maybe the straws in the wind indicate that post the disastrous handling of the COVID, where practically every family has gone through a psychological nightmare, 2024 is still up in the air. And you don't have to be a genius or a Nostradamus to predict that the Congress will have to be the fulcrum of that effort to defeat the BJP. And therefore, Prashant is probably one of those strategists who is not going to be happy with a regional player. You rather be part of one centrifugal force that has become a rather, shall we say, dwindled over the last maybe decade, but has the wherewithal to bounce back. And therefore, I think this point, it is a question of the negotiation in terms of the independence of the role that they can bring to the table. Because Barkha, one rider before I think Aditi, before Aarti comes in, is the fact that in the Congress there are brilliant voices, but because the inner party democracy has withered away, many people are not able to speak candidly to the leadership, and that's where Prashant can bring something different to the table.
Okay, so, Tehseen makes the point that Prashant Kishore is a grand illusionist. He has a section of the media speaking up for him. Aarti, what is very, very evident is that Mr. Kishore does a very good job of remaining in the headlines. He is able to capture headlines. He is able to capture mind space. He is able to get a lot of chatter around him. So when he met with Sharad Pawar, for example, there was speculation about whether Pawar was going to be the face of a united third front. Kishore himself scoffed at the idea and said a third front can't take on Modi. He's also been on record to say that national politics without the Congress at this moment won't work. Now, what we believe is that he has been presenting a blueprint for a Congress revival to the Gandhis, but having had his fingers burnt before in the UP Congress campaign, he wants certain assurances before he proceeds. Do you actually see him in the role of what's being called the next Ahmed Patel, a political secretary? There's been talk on Twitter, Tehseen will laugh at this, of a working president role. There's all kinds of completely sort of dramatic speculations out there in the ether today. Can we unmute Aarti?
Prashant, listen.
Yeah.
And sharp man. He's been involved in so many political campaigns right from the inside that I think he has a fairly good idea of how political parties function. He's worked closely with the Congress in UP. I think he has a fairly good idea of the dynamics of the Congress party. I mean, I would be really surprised if he depends on some verbal assurance from, the Gandhis about a future role for himself in the Congress. And on the strength of that verbal assurance, he joins a lobster pot party like the Congress, where everybody is constantly pulling each other down and nobody likes anybody to get too close to the Gandhis in case they kind of take over the Gandhis and keep everybody out. I mean, Prashant Kishore will have to deal with so much inner party politics in the Congress that, he simply will not get the kind of equation in the Congress that he had, say, with Nitish Kumar. You remember, he shifted into Nitish's house and he was working from Nitish's house, or the kind of equation he had with Mamta. And mind you, there was a lot of trouble in the TMC because Prashant Kishore had, had been sort of brought in to handle the TMC campaign, and it was only because Mamta's nephew was so solidly with Prashant Kishore that he managed to stick on. Now the point is that these are sort of small parties, one man, one woman parties, the regional players. So it's easy for a Prashant Kishore to be in there and assert himself and develop that kind of close rapport with the top leader and therefore, help to guide the campaign. I don't think it's so easy to do that in the Congress, although the Gandhis are obviously the top people in the Congress and there's nobody to challenge, their place and all that. But the fact is that the Congress has a whole host of people below the Gandhis, regional leaders, people who are power brokers, some people who are close to Rahul, people who are close to Priyanka, people who are close to Sonia. There's a whole lot. I mean, the Congress is like an onion. You go on peeling it, and you will go on.
So, is it your sense that he would join, or are you saying that he's too smart to do that, and that in the end he'd become, as Tehseen said, a Congress worker, and that's not how he's used to function?
Absolutely not. He is used to being the top dog and the man who is directly in touch with the top leader, the sort of main leader of the party. So, I mean, even when he was handling the Modi campaign in 2014, I mean, he was directly in touch with Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. Directly in touch with him. I think
but the fact is that the Gandhis... Yeah, but the fact is that
So,
Tehseen may be disparaging, but the fact is that the Gandhis whom he supports have met with Mr. Kishore a number of times. And Padma, I'm just wondering if the reason that he's able to get the kind of media attention and, in fact, public curiosity as he does is because this is a country that is actually starved for an opposition. And the Congress is not playing to that impulse. It's not playing to that appetite in its current form. And therefore, every time there's a suggestion that there might be something smart, interesting, new that's happening in the opposition, there is hunger for that because nobody wants a country without an opposition, which is often what our country feels like these days. Not even BJP supporters want a country without an opposition.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. And I just have four very simple points, Pakha. See, whether Prashant Kishore is joined or will join the Congress formally, officially as a worker, as a full card-holding member or not, there are four simple facts. He's a poll strategist. He's not a politician. No matter how many parties he's successfully helped to power, can he bring a party to power himself on his own steam? I'm not so sure of that, because in the public eye, he has no locus standi or proven experience as an administrator, able or otherwise. So he won't be able to enhance the Congress much as a political inductee, perhaps as a worker. Now, will he join the party but essentially function as a poll strategist? That may well be likely. But again, there are two simple sub-facts. No matter how excellent a strategist he may be, I am of the firm belief that as long as Rahul Gandhi is the PM candidate, the Congress is not going to succeed in toppling Mr. Modi, which is the ultimate goal. Now, there are various reasons, too alienated from the kinds of voters who voted for Mr. Modi, etc., etc. We won't, go down that road. Let it suffice to say that Rahul Gandhi, for all his well brought up gentility and personal likability, which all of us have encountered, every now and then, is simply no match for someone with this immense political depth and wide-based popularity as Mr. Modi. The last point, if the Congress's aim is to topple or help topple the current government, help topple is the key phrase, and not so much to propel one of the Gandhis, Rahul or Priyanka, to the PMO, then they stand a chance, but only if there is, as you just said, a united opposition. Now, if you recollect the semblance of the Third Front, which fought shy of calling itself that when it met at Mr. Sharad Pawar's residence, Prashant Kishore is very much at that meeting. Now, we all know that no Third Front stands a shred of a chance at national level without the Congress being part of it, or at least leading it. Now, dare I wager a guess? I think persuading the Congress to join the Third Front and eventually, if not this Third Front, a Third Front, and eventually perhaps even accept a PM candidate other than the Gandhis, whether within or outside the Congress, and from wherever, or from one of the Third Front allies. I think that is likely to have featured or will feature prominently in all Kishore Congress interactions, be it in whichever capacity.
And I think the interesting point that you make, and I want to take that to Tehseen, is that Mr. Kishore thus far has delivered elections for other people, never as himself in the driver's seat, always the person who's mapping that journey as opposed to driving the car. Tehseen, but Mr. Kishore is on record, and I'm going to play a little interview excerpt of one of my own, as having, he's very openly expressed prior frustration with the Congress by suggesting that there were promises that the Gandhis made and then they didn't keep their part of the deal. They lost their appetite for risk. And he's, of course, referring to the time that he tried to steer the Congress campaign in UP. And he's gone on record to say that he finds Mr. Modi daring and Rahul Gandhi not a risk taker. And I'll play that clip for you in a moment. But when you are kind of sarcastic about him and you say he's a grand illusionist,
I'm not. I'm not sarcastic at all. Absolutely not. I want to absolutely make it clear. I have a lot of respect for what he does. I think it's great to be an illusionist. In politics, you need to do that. I absolutely have respect for him. And I think he would be a good addition as a Congress worker, as most of everyone in the Congress, including Mr. Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, are workers, including Nehru was a worker, including Mahatma Gandhi. So please don't take it as me being dismissive. I have a lot of respect for him. I want to clarify it. But he does have a section of Lucian's media eating out of his hand, planting stories that are source-based and doing clubhouses for him. You know it, I know it, and let's not move away from that. Perhaps stories that Aarti might not do or you might not do, but there are lots of stories, even in international media, that come. Sometimes, and part of illusion is making something look bigger than what it really is. For example, your statement that he's delivered victories, but you cannot deliver a victory without actually having a base. Now, if you are such a good victory deliverer, I'm not making this personal about Prashant. I'm just giving you an example. Why couldn't you deliver that in Uttar Pradesh? Because there was no organization, and Sanjay will bear with me, Aarti will bear with me, you know that. So ultimately, you need a solid base for the icing on the top. Now,
Okay.
victory and credit is Prashant's, but failure is Rahul Gandhi's. I think that is being very uncharitable to Mr. Gandhi. I really believe Rahul and Priyanka are fantastic as human beings, are good political force together. I've been on your show, on your former channel, where I've told you the two of them should work together. And my prediction then on your channel was, and I think it'll come to, and that's where I slightly disagree with you. I think I see Priyanka ji in the role of Ahmed Patel. I see her that way, not a Prashant Kishore. She can bridge that gap because she has the stature, the empathy, and the effectiveness to play that role.
Okay, hang on. I want to come out of these pictures and play for our panel of what Prashant Kishore had actually said in the aftermath of that bruising defeat in Uttar Pradesh. What he said about Rahul Gandhi, whom he has now spent several hours meeting with, and it is widely believed that it is Rahul Gandhi, not Priyanka, who's been circumspect, somewhat diffident about a larger role for Prashant Kishore. So it's instructive. This is an old interview, but it's still instructive what Mr. Kishore said. Let's listen. What is the biggest difference between Prime Minister Modi's approach to politics and Rahul Gandhi's approach to politics?
A book can be written about it.
When are you writing that book? When are you writing that book? You were going to do a book. That book never happened. We're waiting for that book. But give us one example, having worked with both of them. If you had to use one word or one adjective to describe either man, what would that adjective be for Modi and what would that adjective be for Rahul?
In very many ways, if I have to give only one phrase, Modi is a big risk taker. He has the courage and conviction to take big risk. Rahul, I see in general, and I could be wrong, they are more status quoist. So they don't want to rock
Does the
boat.
audience agree? Does the audience agree?
So, and that might have got to do with the fact that he is leading a 100-year-old party.
Okay, so that was a very interesting comment because I think it would still hold true. And Sanjay, I think what Prashant Kishore in this conversation with the Gandhis is doing is saying, take a risk. Take that risk that you are not able to take. Now, whether it means that he's the next Ahmed Patel, whether it means he has an official role, or whether it means, as Aarti has suggested, that he's going to be steering a campaign, but this time wanting a free hand, I don't know. My personal information is that there is an offer to join a political party, and he will have to take a decision sooner or later because otherwise he remains a political strategist for the rest of his life.
Well, Barkha, let me tell you, Prashant hit the nail on the head when he said what he said. I have written it in my book, which you endorsed, by the way, where I have written categorically that I went to Rahul Gandhi with a detailed strategic note on how to get the Congress geared up for the 2019 elections. If I were to share publicly, which I unfortunately won't as a matter of principle, the number of ideas that I shared with Rahul between 2013 to 19, it could be a book on its own. Rahul probably never even implemented one of them. I'm telling you, I'm being very vocal on your channel. This is a fact that I cannot but say so publicly today. The truth is that Rahul Gandhi lacks the boldness to really change things. That what we expected of him, Rahul actually, as he assumed the role of the Congress president, became more and more conservative. He doesn't like to actually rock the citadel. And politics is really about someone dreaming big. If you don't have that big idea, forget it. You're not going to make any difference at all. Now, the second point, I mean, I heard somebody say that what's the big deal about strategy? I think even Tehseen said that. I'm being frank with you. I'm reading Barack Obama's book at the moment, and I would recommend everyone to read that. The entire success of Barack Obama's campaign was based on people who gave him great ideas on how to take on the Republicans, how to raise money, and how to make the pitch, not just against Hillary Clinton, but against John McCain. Now, these are things that many people miss out on. The Congress needs somebody who plays chess. Right now, nobody's playing anything in the Congress. This is gilly
But in
danda.
what role? But given that he has said that he doesn't want to be a chess player on behalf of other people anymore, Sanjay, quickly
Right.
before I go to Aarti and Padma, what role do you see him in? Do you see him as the grandmaster? Do you see him as the coach? If you're talking about playing chess, what's the role?
Well, I see him as somebody who can definitely bring in strategy and tactics and
By
more
joining the party or by being the same role? That's what we're
No.
discussing.
I think if he joins the party, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Tessin. He is going to be a big asset for the Congress, and for him too, there's a big political opportunity that opens up.
Okay, thank
I
you.
do believe that BJP is on the
Briefly, and
wane,
then
and the
Aarti.
Congress has an opportunity here.
Tehsil, briefly.
Sanjay, with a lot of respect to you, I'm also reading A Promised Land. I have never said strategy is not important. In fact, strategy is the most important. I can also write a book on the number of meetings I've had and people who've come in as outsiders and consulted the Congress and have led it down a path that it should not have been led to. I can take names and you and I can laugh about it. And Barkha, in my experience, and I won't take too much of your time because you have other experts to speak, I think one of the problems with the Congress, and I welcome if Prashant Kishore comes, I'd be very happy if he comes, but I think one of the problems with the Congress, and this is my diagnosis, is Congress sometimes brings in too many outsiders into its fold and gives them too much of importance rather than trusting its own assets who for generations, grandfather, father, son, have been in the Congress. I can give you thousands of people like this who from the great grandfather's time have been with Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Ji, and some of them are just discarded, and these new people are got in, and some of these new people who are got in, they have ridiculous ideas. I don't say that about Prashant Kishore. I definitely don't say that about Sanjay Jha. But some of them who've come into the Congress, and I've tweeted about them publicly, and have been made in peace, they have been ridiculous. So we have to be careful and you have to take people.
Guys,
One short point.
One minute. You're all speaking together. Aarti, then Padma, then Sanjay. Aarti, go.
Oh, okay, so see the kind of mindset that Prashant Kishore would have to deal with if he joins the Congress. Outsider, all these other congressmen who have been loyalists, the whole family has been loyal, working for the party for generations. You know, this is precisely the self-image that congressmen have, Congress workers, leaders have of themselves and their place in the party. Are they going to allow Prashant Kishore to come in? And tell me, Barkha, you know, again, you're saying, you know, Prashant Kishore is tired of being a strategist for other people. So what? I mean, so is he going to be allowed to become president of the Congress party so that he can take over the Congress party and then be a strategist for himself as leader of, as you know, head of the Congress party?
Well, what's
Obviously
the alternative?
not. Obviously not. So even if he joins the Congress, he would still have to be a strategist for the Gandhis.
I know,
Right?
but the point is,
what does he gain? I mean, I don't know what his plans are. I have not talked to Prashant Kishore. Maybe you are more privy to what his plans are. I'm just trying to think logically because I think Prashant Kishore is very smart. He's a very savvy political man. And, you know, I mean, he cannot win an election for a party that does not have a base. I completely agree. What he does is he brings value addition to a leader who is already got a solid base and would probably have won on his or her own. I think Mamta would have won that election in Trinamool. It's just that I think Prashant Kishore managed to bump up a campaign and give her that sweeping victory, which she may not have been able to get.
let me try and respond to the question you've raised, Aarti. Here's what I see. I see a diminishing returns for Prashant Kishore if he continues to do what he's doing. And what I mean by that, let me just explain, is that, you know, after a point, if the ultimate aim is to beat Mr. Modi in 2024, then running a few state assembly campaigns is not going to do that. It's quite clear that he needs a role on the national stage. I think this we can logically all agree on. Now the question is, what is that role for him that is meatier for him and gives him that primacy that clearly he would seek? I'm just saying, if I were to think in his shoes for a moment, whether that's good, bad, whether he's giving himself too much importance, too little importance, I'm not getting into Tessie. I'm just saying, I'm just responding to what Aarti has said. Padma, do you want to take that? Padma's on mute?
Yeah, I just unmuted myself. I just wanted to, also second what Aarti said, her reaction to what Tehseen said, about the soul. That is the problem with the Congress. The accusation of dynastic rule and the inability even of other congressmen to work within the Congress. I mean, we know so many of them, and so often the question as to why the Gandhis, simply, there's just silence. It's almost as if everybody is just, numbed into silence within the Congress. But I see this role. I think I'm going more or less in the same direction as you're thinking, Barkha. I see Prashant Kishor's role essentially as a linchpin to coalesce and to bring together an opposition which is far stronger than the Congress would be on its own, or any of the individual, so-called third front elements that came together would be on their own. I mean, most of them are regional satraps. Most of them don't have the national stature. Congress had the national stature, but is terribly dependent on on support from it. You need a much larger opposition. You need a credible opposition, and I personally think that is what we're going to see his role evolve into, the linchpin for the creation of a credible, solid opposition to attempt to overthrow the current government, as credibly as it can.
Okay, we have 5 minutes left. Let's take last comments. I'll start with you, Sanjay. Tehseen, I'll come to you right after that. And here's the question. Do you believe that the Congress needs Prashant Kishore more than Prashant Kishore needs the Congress today, Sanjay?
I think the Congress needs Prashant Kishore more. But this could be a wonderful mutual arrangement. Because I think, Prashant has done well. Let's not deny him the extraordinary successes he's had. And if you have any political ambition, because I think in politics, nobody loves to be a consultant all the time. It's not about money eventually, right? You want to be part of the mainstream. And I'm telling you something, I'm not trying to sound cocky here, but anyone who's entered politics and has met several of these high-profile people, if you're smart, intelligent, and intellectually a little turned on, you'll realize you're dealing with very average people who build aggressive profiles, but at the end of the day, their governance is shoddy, and they're not even able to actually become excellent communicators. So I think Prashant is seeing an opportunity here for himself, and why not? And I would therefore add one point. My frustration happened, Barkha, when I was unofficially in the Congress. I had great access to Rahul. Once I officially became the spokesperson in 2013, I saw gradually the shutters went down because, everybody take you for granted. And I think that is the only challenge that Prashant will have to handle. And if I were him, I would ensure that there's a guaranteed access to the top leadership.
And what role do you see? And before I go to Tehseen, in one line, do you see him as another worker? Do you see him, if he were to join the Congress, what do you see as his official role or designation? Sanjay?
Well, I see Prashant should come in a role that I have been recommending to the Congress for a long time, is create the role of vice presidents. You need to flank your president by having somebody head organization, somebody head the north, east, south, and west. Okay. And Prashant could come in as a strategic alliances man, for example, but therefore assume a critical role for the Congress, exactly what Padma was saying.
So in a way, it's like the corporatization or the professionalization, as it were, of the Congress, and I think that's a fair way to put it. So Tehseen, when you list the long sort of litany of those whose grandfathers have been with the Congress, some might argue, and I would be among them, that that's the exact problem. That's the exact problem with the Congress today.
Look at the people who've let Congress down. The people who've let Congress down are not the generational leaders, and that's across. Let's give you an example. Let me be frank on your show. They gave the Rajya Sabha to Kumar Ketkar, a colleague of yours, a journalist. What value does Kumar Ketkar bring to Maharashtra politics? They would have rather given it to Sanjay. I'm being very honest. Sanjay at least could have bought some. What is the value? So what has Kumar Ketkar done for Maharashtra Congress? So let's understand that it's not that everyone who's an outsider is somebody who's great. And why am I so frank? I'm so frank because I'm not a part of the Congress. And I agree with Sanjay. The reason I will never be a part of the Congress is because I have great access. I will never spoil that access. I don't, but one has to understand that the Congress, if it needs to come back to power, and it can come back to power in 2024, it has to focus on two things. It's loyalist, and to go back to being the Congress that was the Congress in Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi's time. The Nationalist Party, the party which was traditional, don't come up with all these ridiculous ideas that they came up with. For example, Youth Congress elections, it ended up spoiling the Congress party. So please, there are consultants, and I have a lot of respect for Prashant. I really want Prashant in the Congress. I think it will be good for the Congress, but not everything that glitters is gold. Not everything is simplistic. Politics is layered, and even Barack Obama's campaign was very, very, very layered. Sanjay, you must read the book in more detail. You will understand politics is not simple black or white. There are shades of grey. There are shades of grey, and I don't want you to be naughty and comment on any other shade of grey.
I am just going to not talk about the 50 Shades of Grey, but I'm going to talk
I don't want
about
Sanjay
Obama.
to be naughty about it.
No, I'm being naughtier. I'm reminding you what Obama said about Rahul Gandhi in that same book that both of you are quoting so extensively from. Please
He
remember
did,
that.
and he did. And who are the people who are overawed by Obama? Who are the people who are overawed by Obama? Again, all these consultants. You
Okay,
got to
all
be
right.
what you are.
Okay.
Mahatma Gandhi held his identity.
Clearly
You have to hold yours.
So clearly you don't.
No,
see
I value Prashant, but
But
I
not
don't
as a
think
vice
politics is that
president.
simple.
Okay.
No, I hope he becomes vice president, but politics is not as simple that Prashant will come, we'll win, and we'll get
Okay,
the award. It's not that simple.
Padma, brief interjection. Then Aarti
Very,
can
very
ask
briefly, very briefly, the minute I heard Indira Gandhi, I must say that, since I'm probably one of the older lot on this panel, I can tell you that I was in college, I was at, I'd just come of voting age, and Indira Gandhi was, the Indira Gandhi era is something that I experienced and I lived, and I can tell you for sure that today's India does not want the Indira Gandhi era back. What they want back is a totally different subject for discussion for another debate and another day. But that is not what is going to ensure a victory for the Congress.
Okay, Aarti, since you're the least convinced that this is actually going to happen, and we'll know in a few days, it won't take long.
No.
Yeah.
Listen, I think Prashant Kishore is very hard at work. But, Barkha, I just want to say one thing. Prashant Kishore wants Modi defeated, okay? And he obviously is developing a plan to do that. Now, what is the only way to defeat the BJP? To ensure a bipolar fight. Not a third front or a fourth front or a fifth front. It has to be a one-to-one fight between whatever and the BJP. That's the only way of doing it. So if you look at it state by state, there are some states in which regional parties are important. There are some states in which the Congress is the main opposition. Obviously, somebody has to knit that together into some kind of a workable alliance to be able to take on the BJP seat by seat by seat by seat.
But that would be a third front of a kind, or it would be UPA part one. It would be like UPA 1 or UPA 2.
A third front means BJP, Congress, and a third
Non-Congress.
front. This is not a third front. This is a bipolar fight. It has to be a
And what is he in that? He continues to be a consultant.
So somebody has
strategist.
to put that together. Let me tell you something. If today the Gandhis, either Priyanka or Rahul, try to reach out to regional leaders, most of them will be put off. They simply lack the equation with a Mamata Banerjee or with a Sharad Pawar or with
Can I make a point?
Yadav or whatever. They lack the equation.
Can I add a point? Just one point. Just one, very brief.
Particularly since he has worked with so many regional leaders, can Priyanka or Rahul talk with Jagan Reddy, for instance?
Well,
Of
not
course,
after
see,
sending
again-
it. Not after
see,
sending it to
again-
jail.
in Telangana, and the Congress has no base left anymore in Andhra or in Telangana.
Yeah.
So you
See,
have
again-
to depend on these regional leaders, and that is Prashant Kishore's main value. His main,
I have to
the
close.
main thing he
Yes,
brings.
one
I just-
sentence. One sentence,
Yeah,
and
just-
Aarti can respond to it, or anyone
No,
else can. Yeah.
No. With a lot of respect for Aarti, I just want to say, look, one of the reasons for these regional players is they would rather not have a Congress, for example, Mamata in West Bengal, and make it a one-on-one fight, TMC versus BJP. Congress also has that handicap. These are traditional enemies of the Congress, or the new parties have come out of the Congress. So please don't make it as a fault of the Gandhis. This is the tradition. The regional party would rather have the Congress dead, and they fight the BJP in the center and they in the state.
But
So please, this is not the Gandhi's fault. This is not the Gandhi's fault.
I think Prashant Kishore is trying to explain to the Congress that if you want to defeat Modi, you cannot go into West Bengal, into Mamata Banerjee's territory.
Nehru's Congress needs advice from outsiders.
Okay,
Sorry.
guys.
Okay.
It has to be
Guys, we are
very
Mahatma
closing.
Gandhi's party.
Padma and Sanjay. Tahsin, bas. Padma, one
Bas, bas,
sentence. Sanjay gets the last word. We have to close. We're literally 2 minutes ahead. Padma?
Yeah, so I think we all agree, what I said earlier is that his role is envisaged as, at least we envisage his role, if he has one, as the linchpin that brings together disparate elements into the one front, call it the third front, call it the, whatever Aarti called it,
Okay.
the bipolar, the thing, but whatever it is, I think that is going to be his key role, much more than, us speculating on whether he's going to be a
Okay.
full-fledged politician or not.
Sanjay, please, we do have to close after this.
Yeah, Barkha, let me tell you, I'm not a fly on the wall in what happened, but I can predict where Prashant can make the biggest difference to the Congress. In the Lok Sabha elections, there are roughly 195 seats where the BJP and Congress go head to head, literally head to head. Out of that, in 2019, the BJP won 175 of those 195 seats. And that is the real issue of the 2024 election. If the Congress were to do well in those battles where it is the only contestant with the BJP, the 2024 story can change. And that's where Prashant's role will perhaps be most material.
Okay, I have to fall back on that old cliche that we so often use when we don't have a conclusive path ahead. We can only at this moment make estimations, watch this space. So we will continue to watch this space. Thank you, Aarti, Tahsin, Padma, and Sanjay. These are interesting times, and it is frankly a relief to be talking about something other than the bleakness of COVID, which cannot be forgotten and which we will continue to report, of course. Yes, this is all happening on parallel tracks, and it is going to be a critical election in Uttar Pradesh, and that's where it's all headed in a few months from now. The first real test of the political aftermath of COVID as well will be tested there. And that's why this decision by Prashant or by the Gandhis will have to be taken in somewhat of a hurry. Leaving it there, thank you very much. And to our audience, see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.